All righty, Margaret Cho, thank you for taking some time to chat with me. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. Let's begin by talking a little bit more about your upcoming Live and Livid tour. What can audiences expect?
Well, it's really a way for us to connect after this very long pandemic. It's been very tough not being able to really tour on a very large scale. I've done some shows, but I think we're still getting used to going back out and going to live shows, and
Mhm.
so it's very meaningful. And there's a lot to talk about. Mostly we have to protect trans rights everywhere. I think that's really important. They're trying to basically ban transness out of existence. And it's really traumatic to think about. But the way that it's become this weird political fight where you're basically asking for trans genocide, like that to me is so horrifying and
Mhm.
horrible. And so that's a big topic. Also, we got to protect drag queens. Like,
Yeah.
drag is such an important part of our community because I think it's where we express joy.
Hmm.
And so to target this part of the community that really is so necessary to our peace of mind. I
Yeah.
need drag. I have to have drag. Like, I don't know why this has become also another politicized issue, but
Yeah.
it has. So to me, yeah, there's a lot to be livid about. That's just the beginning, but yeah. So there's it's gonna be fun though.
Good, good. So because you're kind of touching on these topics, kind of more serious topics about drag queens, transness, would you say that's how this tour is different from your previous tours?
Well, it's just new material, but it's really like, to me, these serious topics still can. There's what fine a fine line where we can actually find some grace and humor in what is perceived as this like tragedy, but actually we can find a lot of humor in it. And I think that's the key to survival, is that we can actually take a breath in by laughing and find a way to carry on another day.
Mhm.
um Also, this tour is really to celebrate my 40th year being a stand-up comedian, which seems like so
Yes.
long, but it's actually it's great. Like, I've had a great life in stand-up comedy, and I'm just getting started, I think. So
Yes,
that's really
yes.
great too. I love that. And to me, it's a real celebration of having spent so much wonderful time also doing so much activism within the queer community,
Mhm.
starting with ACT UP in the 90s and carried through till now. So yeah, I'm just celebrating our survival, our resilience as a community, and our growth.
Mhm. Perfect, great. Well, for those who don't know, how did your comedy journey begin?
I started off as a stand-up comedian in the 80s, and then I was actually doing a lot of drag shows in the
Okay.
beginning. I'm from San Francisco, and so I was doing a lot of fundraising for ACT UP and Queer Nation and all those early AIDS organizations in San Francisco. And Brownie Mary, who was a very famous woman who was constantly getting arrested because she was turning her back on the law. She was an old woman, and she was baking brownie marijuana brownies for men dying of AIDS in hospice in the
Mhm.
90s. So I met her, and she gave me a pop brownie. This was like in the maybe 1992. I'm still high. So like, I think it's really like, let's celebrate like all the history of like where we come from. I don't remember a lot of it, but we have some history. But yeah, that's how I started in stand up comedy. I really loved it. I wanted to be an adult. I wanted to be a comedian. My mentor was Joan Rivers, and
Mm,
I still carry on her legacy.
awesome. A lot of comedians have talked about using humor as a shield. Did you have that experience early on?
Absolutely. Like, it's a shield and it's a bond. Like, it's a shield because I got bullied a lot as a kid, as most queer kids are.
Yeah.
It's really painful growing up gay because you just can't get a break from like getting bullied, to also society not even recognizes this as people.
Mhm.
So it's like a really hard place to be. And I think I would say, like, my moment was like, I remember being at summer camp and I was on this bench by myself and no kids would sit next to me. And they're all crowded on their other benches. And I was sitting there feeling so lonely.
Mm.
And then I thought, I'm a star. And that's why they can't be next to me. And I realized that is true. And when you can convey that to young people who are grown up gay, who just feel like so bullied by the world, you're a star. And
Yeah,
that's all that matters.
that's all that matters. Yes. Well, unfortunately, it seems that a lot of comedians are coming under fire as of late. Do you believe that there is a so-called war on comedy?
No, it's a war on ignorance. It's a war on homophobia. It's a war on the way that we use language to keep inequality in effect.
Hmm.
So that's what the war is. And then, the people that are complaining are really people who have been in power because of language.
Hmm.
Whether that's cis straight white men who are complaining like you can't say anything anymore. No, we're not saying that. We're saying you can't say things without being accountable.
Yeah.
And that's all. We are just asking people to be accountable of language. We're asking language to be accountable for itself to show where society we need to do better. That's all
Hmm.
it is. I
Yeah,
think it just requires more skill to be a comic now, just because you have to look at all of the ways that we affect the world with language. And so I think it's helpful, actually.
for sure. Do you think certain topics should never be joked about?
No, I think that everything is really all about intention,
Okay.
like what our intentions are around something. So I went to a production of The Golden Girls last night with all drag queens.
Okay. The one with
And
Ginger Minge?
yes.
Yes.
Oh, no, not
Oh,
Ginger Bitch.
oh.
I went to there's many. It's a
There's
rep. It's a
many.
many companies. The one with Jackie Beat
Okay.
and
Okay.
Alaska and Alec Mappa and Sherry Vine.
Nice.
And one of the jokes in it was not even a joke. They show commercials in the between, and it was for AIDS diet candy,
Hmm.
which of course it's like an audience who has suffered through the trauma of losing an entire generation of its community to AIDS,
Yeah.
the
Hmm.
disease. So it's an AIDS joke, but it's not an AIDS joke. So
Exactly.
it's like the intention is like, let's talk about how funny the idea of like this candy that was a diet candy to make you lose weight. And of course, that was one of the symptoms of the terrible disease AIDS.
Yeah.
And it's an audience that is like, we've lived through the tragedy of this disease and come out the other side with great strength and resilience and purpose.
Hmm.
So that way, well, you can say we can't joke about AIDS. Well, there are ways. It's intention. It's like, let's look at it through the way the audience is looking at it. Let's look at it through the way that it's meant to be seen. So context matters, but
Hmm.
also it's more intention matters more.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. But cancel culture is also very big at this time. Do you ever worry about being canceled?
Yeah, definitely. Because I think it's one of those things where I worry about being ignorant.
Hmm.
I worry about being uneducated. I worry about being insensitive to communities. Um, the way that people have been insensitive about the Asian American community, the queer community, uh, the different communities that I belong to. I worry about being hurt the same way.
Hmm.
So I worry about hurting people the same way that I've been hurt. So that's definitely concern. But then, you have the ability to learn. Like I still have the ability to learn. I don't want to hang on to old beliefs that don't serve me or society any further. So I am always willing to have that sort of education in there. I want to learn. And I get a lot from like younger people who are sort of showing me and like looking towards venues like TikTok,
Hmm.
where people will tell you like what's going wrong or what they don't like. And that's really productive, I think.
Yeah, for sure. And you mentioned that Joan was your mentor. What's the best comedic advice that she ever gave you?
I think she was just very encouraging, and she always told me they're going to want you more when you get older. Like
Hmm.
your age is going to be very valuable to you. And I found that to be true. I think she's great. she was certainly such a trailblazer, such
Yeah.
an important figure in my life, but also in the lives of so many of us. So I miss her. I wish she was here. I really miss what she would have to say. I think she would have a lot to say about what's going on.
Oh, she definitely would, I bet. Yes. Well, in addition to comedy, you have also ventured into acting, music, advocacy, podcasting, and so much more. Do you have any current projects you'd like to talk about?
Well, right now I'm just focusing on the tour. I'm super excited about that. I have a movie coming out called Prom Pact, which is really exciting too, and that'll be in the next, I guess, like month or something.
Okay.
And then yeah, touring. I'm working on a couple of projects over uh this year that are really exciting to me. So that'll be coming up at some point. I really want them to make a, a Fire Island sequel. I'm
Yes, that'd
pushing
be
for that.
awesome. Hmm.
I love those children, and so hopefully we'll make more. But yeah, I'm just kind of working and doing stuff, and it's all coming out soon.
Good, good. And congratulations on your 2023 GLAAD Media Award nominations.
Thank you. I'm really thrilled about that, and really looking forward to that ceremony. To me, that's the night. I mean, of course, we had a great Grammys night. You know, I love
Hmm.
Kim Petras and Sam Smith, and I love that song. And I just, I think it's really, we show progress through our art, and that's really progress there. You know, I love that,
Definitely.
and I love that those artists are recognized.
Definitely. And I was happy to see that you were nominated for your role in Fire Island. How did it feel to be part of what many are considering to be such a groundbreaking production?
So special. I love the film. We had such a fun time making it. You know, those guys are really my family, and you know, to show such um truth and really celebrate this identity as queer Asian Americans is really, really special. So I loved it.
Good, good. Do you believe Asians are still not being taken seriously in Hollywood?
I think it's getting better.
Hmm.
I think it's certainly getting better, especially with like the Oscar nominations
Yeah,
that we've seen. You know, that's tremendous.
that was
It's
huge.
the most that we've had. But at the same time, you know, it's just the beginning.
Hmm.
So I really am so excited about the future with that. But I really am so proud of what we've been able to accomplish.
For sure. And what are some future goals you hope to accomplish with your career and platform?
Well, I would love to. My thing is like now it's a PGOT, so it's a Pulitzer, Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, Tony. All I have is a SCAT, which is sex work, catering, Adderall, and telemarketing.
The
So
important
now
one.
I, girl, that's everybody. But I want a PGOT or a NEGOT, which is a Pulitzer, Nobel,
Aim high,
Emmy,
keep
Grammy,
going.
Oscar. You know, we need to keep on adding.
Yes, yes. Well, Margaret, how can one stay up to date with you?
You can find me on Instagram, Margaret_Cho, my TikTok, the Margaret Cho, Twitter at Margaret Cho, and my website is margaretcho.com if you want show dates and information and tickets.
Perfect. Well, then before we wrap up, are there any other upcoming projects or anything else you would like to mention or plug at this time?
I am just going to be out there. So come see me do shows. I'm out there. I'm doing shows, doing stand up. I'm so excited to be out there. So it's going to be great.
Awesome. Fantastic.